Namaste. This is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. Today's the 1st of July 2015. The following is the Vedic Astrology reading for Bobbi Kristina Brown, based on the 4th of March, 1993, at 11:38 a.m. in Livingston, New Jersey. Now, using Vedic astrology from India and the sidereal zodiac, we see that in her first house, she has the third sign of the zodiac ascending at 5 degrees 52 minutes of Gemini. So this is Gemini rising sign with Moon and Mars in the first house. So Mars brings courage, property, executive organizing capability, friendships. Mars can give a kingdom. And Moon in the first house brings close connection with Mother and wealth and status through the second house significations. Moon rules the second house of Cancer. This is wealth, status, and family life. So the wealth and status comes to her directly from family life, and Moon is Mother. So Bobbi Brown was this American reality television and media personality, a singer and heiress. She's the daughter of Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston, who were divorced. She's the sole beneficiary of her mother's $115 million estate. Her mother died on February 11th, 2012. So Bobbi Brown will get trust fund payments, was due to get trust fund payments until the age of 30. Then she would get the whole $115 million. She has 4 half-siblings. She had a very difficult childhood due to her parents' drug problems, the paparazzi, and also there was domestic violence. Now, in October 2012, she announced her engagement to Nick Gordon, who was actually a boy who had been living in the Whitney Houston household since he was 12 years old. So he was basically her older brother. So her grandmother and maybe even her mother got upset about this, because this happened in October 2012. No, that was after. Her mother died in February 2012. In January 2015, Nick Gordon, her boyfriend, and a friend of his, they found Bobbi Brown face down in the bathtub like her mother, and the police said it was possibly due to drugs or alcohol. So the doctors placed her in a medical coma. Later, she was moved to a rehabilitation facility in March due to irreversible brain damage. And now, just recently, about a week ago, she was moved to a hospice care. So Moon ruling wealth and status, Moon ruling mothers in the first house. Third house, she has the 5th sign, Leo, ruled by the Sun. Sun rules younger siblings, and it rules father. It's in the house of good fortune. But Sun in Aquarius is ruled by Saturn in the 8th house of death-like experiences, vulnerability, transformations, and addictions. So that undermines the relationship and the support she gets from her father and younger siblings. In the 4th house, she had the 6th sign Virgo. This is Jupiter retrograde at 19 degrees. So Jupiter brings good luck, good fortune into family life. The 4th house is mother. 5th house, we have the 7th sign Libra, ruled by Venus. So Venus rules her mind, and it's in the 10th house of career. Venus is exalted in Pisces, so this connects Bobbi Brown with music and entertainment. 10th house is professional life. 6th house, she had the 8th sign Scorpio. This is Rahu, the northern node of the moon, in its debilitation sign at 23 degrees. Now this Rahu aspects 5, 7, and 9 houses away. So at 23 degrees, it's afflicting Venus at 25 degrees. This is a close affliction. So this can cause loss of children or denied children. And Venus rules mind. And this Rahu can cause disturbance of the mind. And Rahu can cause addictions. In the 7th house, we have the 9th sign Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. And in the 8th house, we have the 10th sign Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. And we have Saturn right there in the 8th house, in its own sign. Rules the 9th house of Father, but it's utterly weak in the 8th house. This is a Dustan-Bhava, inauspicious house. This is in old age degrees. It's only 30 degrees possible. So this undermines the strength of the 9th house, which is religion, father. And we know that Saturn is Ayush Karaka, significator for longevity, and it's in old age, weak. This can cause worry, fears, phobias, impatience, distrust of others. In the 9th house, we have the 11th sign Aquarius. This is Mercury retrograde at 28 degrees. Retrograde planets at birth, this is Mercury retrograde, this is Jupiter retrograde. At birth, retrograde means nothing. They're just sitting there. It's during the transit charts that they can cause some issues. Now, Mercury rules this 4th house of Mother. It's in the 9th house of good fortune. But it's in Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, in the house of death or death-like experiences and addictions. So that gives her mother, it connects the 4th house of Mother with the 9th house of Father with the 8th house of death. So this is not ideal. So it would have been good to wear an emerald gemstone to strengthen that Mercury. And Sun ruling fathers in Aquarius. Sun is also Atma Karaka, so she's very unconventional, imaginative, inventive. But these two planets are in Aquarius, so they're codependent on Saturn. This is the most malefic house. This is a very vulnerable house called Randra, means transformations and vulnerability. So this drags Mercury and Sun into this 8th house. And Jupiter is in Virgo, ruled by Mercury. So Jupiter's codependent on Mercury. So that drags Jupiter in here as well. So Jupiter's ruled by Mercury. Mercury and Sun are ruled by Saturn down here. In the 10th house, we have the 12th sign Pisces. So this is the house of career. Venus is the arts, entertainment, beauty. It's exalted, but it's afflicted by Rahu. Out of the house of mental tension, enemies and disputes. So it disturbs her peace of mind. In the 11th house, we have the first sign Aries, ruled by Mars. And Mars is in that first house. This is the 11th house of older siblings. So I think this Nick Gordon was basically like an older brother, and it comes into the first house. It brings close connection with older brother, as it were. And in the 12th house, we have the second sign Taurus, and this is K2 at 23 degrees. This is a debilitated K2 and a debilitated Rahu, which is not ideal, and these planets in the inauspicious 6th, 8th, or 12th house are not considered favorable. This brings a lot of spiritual challenges. Now, K2 throws an aspect 5, 7, and 9 houses away. It's about 6 degrees, 7 degrees from Saturn, so it's not bothering Saturn. It's always opposite Rahu, no problem. But we can see it's only 4 degrees from Jupiter. So this means K2 afflicts Jupiter, ruling the 7th house of relationships. This also in old age causes trouble with the liver and the gallbladder and the hips. So she's born in a Jupiter main period. Jupiter rules the 4th house of parents. Jupiter's in Virgo, ruled by Mercury, in the house of good fortune. It gives good fortune through parents. But the bottom line is they're all ruled by Saturn in the 8th house of death, destruction. Then she went into 19 years of Saturn from January 99, and she's still in Saturn. because this doesn't happen until January 2018. So she's running 19 years of Saturn. Yes, it rules good fortune, divine grace. It rules Mercury, ruling the 4th house of mother. It rules Sun, which is father, in the house of death, obstructions. So her mother dies. She lost her mother February 11th, 2012. Let's look at the sub-period. Mars. Mars is okay, but I bet if we lay this February 12th, 2011, February 11th, 2012, let's go look at that transit chart. Here's the transits. So let's go back to February 11th, 2012. Let's see what we see. Should find something. Okay, here's February 11th. Her rising signs 5.5, almost 6 degrees. Rahu and Ketu are at 7 degrees in Scorpio and Taurus. Those are even signs. So transit Rahu is right here at 17 degrees. Let's take a look at 17 degrees. So Rahu is in Scorpio. So the inner chart is the birth chart. The outer chart is the transit chart. So this Rahu is at 17 degrees. It aspects 5, 7, and 9 houses away. That's not too much trouble. Let's look at Ketu. Ketu is sitting up here at 17 degrees. The aspects 5, 7, and 9 houses away. Well, there it is. Ketu at 17 degrees is afflicting Jupiter at 19 degrees in the house of mother. So that alone was not ideal. Let's take a look at this one, January 31st, 2015. Rahu, see Rahu hit here in September 2012. It runs until July 19th, 2015. So she's been running Rahu. This is about a 3-year cycle. It's just 2 months shy of 3 years. Where's Rahu? Debilitated in the house of mental tension, mental tension, mental tension. Health issues. Afflicting Venus, ruling the mind. So it brought a lot of darkness and phobias and worries to the mind. January 31st, 2015. January 31st, 2015. Let's look at the outer circle, the transits. Look at Rahu. Rahu is at 17 degrees. Her Jupiter's at 19 degrees. So this Rahu was right on top of her Jupiter. This Ketu was afflicting Jupiter. Jupiter rules relationships, so she might not have been happy about relationships. Takes place in the 4th house of mother, so she was found in a similar fashion to her mother, in a bathtub, unconscious. Sun in the 8th house, Mercury in the 8th house of death. Also, let's take a look over here. This is the chart at the time of birth. This is the chart where the planets are most recently. And what happened is that back in November, this Saturn came into Scorpio for everybody. Rules the 9th house of good fortune. It's in this 6th house of Scorpio. So just take this Saturn and move him over here. So it's not a good position in the 6th house. But the subperiod is Rahu, and that's a major issue. Rahu's unexpected calamities, addictions, phobias. So it was hard to get through this subperiod. Even if she gets into Jupiter in July, which is a little bit, I don't know that she's going to make it. Today's July 1st. I don't know if she'll make it another 18 days. But even if she does, she goes into Jupiter, And what's wrong with Jupiter? It's afflicted by Ketu. Hospitalization, institutional life, and end of life afflicting Jupiter. And Jupiter is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is ruled by Saturn, 8th house of death. So there's not much relief here. So I think what happens is that Venus is in the house of karma, music, entertainment. Moon representing mother in the first house. So this is another case, I think, where her mother should have done remedies for her own chart, and then Bobbi Brown should have done remedies for her chart. And then we have a smoother sailing in life if we know how the planets are operating, if we know when the planets are operating, and if we know what to do to fix our charts, we can come out of our difficulties. So my prayers and best wishes are with Bobbi Brown and her family. Namaste.